Hi, welcome to Sad Elderly Woman Talks Way Too Long about the new Witcher teaser. Netflix gave us a brand new teaser for Nightmare of the Wolf, and because I'm psychotic, I want to break down that teaser in probably too much detail. Really quick, just in case you don't know, Nightmare of the Wolf is an animated movie coming out August 23rd on Netflix, and it features Geralt's mentor/father figure, a witcher named Vesemir. And here's a quick synopsis, and actually a new one they added onto it, just in case you're interested.
The world of The Witcher expands in this anime origin story. Before Geralt, there was his mentor Vesemir, a swashbuckling young witcher who escaped a life of poverty to slay monsters for coin. But when a strange new monster begins terrorizing a politically fraught kingdom, Vesemir finds himself on a frightening adventure that forces him to confront the demons of his past.
If you want more information that isn't a teaser breakdown, I will be releasing another video with more information about this movie, and I can't wait for it.
So this is a shot of Kaer Morhen. You can see the wolf statues. It is the School of the Wolf after all, and we also see some witchers hanging out. As Vesemir saw the building of Kaer Morhen in its final location, it looks like we're seeing them decorating the new keep. And the intent is to show Kaer Morhen at its prime, because we know that we're going to see the sack of Kaer Morhen. We're going to see it post that attack in season 2 of the main Witcher show. So seeing when there were a lot more witchers in the keep, when it was more decorated and nice looking, is gonna be fun. Vesemir is fighting people here even though he has his monster hunting eyes, though in fairness, people can be monsters too, sometimes more so than the actual quote-unquote monsters. We see him dodge an arrow and he goes right into meeting another sword. I prefer hand-to-hand or sword fights, so the fact that we are going to get a shit ton of sword fights in this movie has me so hyped. I don't know, guns are fine, they just seem kind of boring. Vesemir reads a proclamation that is very anti-Witcher. The sentiment stays pretty steady, and we see it at the time of the book/main show, though of course depending on the area you're in, some have higher opinions of Witchers than others. Some even consider Witchers people doing a noble and friendly service. A character in the show that I didn't see in the teaser is Lady 𝑒rzurps, and she is a trusted advisor of a Cadwin king, and she's very pro-Witcher, so just in case you're like, oh, there's gonna be all anti-Witcher people in this show. No, she's going to be a fierce champion for Witchers in general, and I would imagine it's her prompting to the king that gets Vesemir put on some sort of mission, and if we're going by the synopsis, killing a monster. Vesemir puts some oil on his blade for an enchantment here. While Witchers have elixirs to give them heightened ability that they actually swallow, they also put oils on their blades to do fun things like poison something, or make it so a wound won't close as easily, because, you know, bleeding to death is fun things. We do see Vesemir drink an elixir later in this teaser as well, and I think how they did the eyes in this movie, at least from all the teasers, is just absolutely beautiful. Here we see Deglin. He is the one that claims Vesemir through the law of surprise and brings him into the Witcher fold. We see him doing a sign on a woman who I hope is actually a monster, because if not, yikes, Deglin. Yikes. From the blue color and how she is thrust back, he used the sign Ard for an energy blast to knock her back. I'm excited to see Deglin's relationship with Vesemir. He comes from Skellige, and that is a very harsh area to be born and grow up, and so when he becomes a Witcher, he's basically just this harsh badass, but at the same time, he's this really cool fatherly figure to all the other Witchers who he considers his boys. Kinda looks like in the next scene, Vesemir is doing the same sign to a monster he's fighting out in the snowy woods. So I'm excited to see a lot more Witcher signs in this movie. I know Henry Cavill was pretty pissed because he wanted more signs in the first season of The Witcher, but, you know, Henry, they can only do so much. But in animation, they can go crazy. Oh yeah, we get a Witcher bathtub scene, which, by the way, Henry Cavill said there's no Geralt bathtub scene in season 2 of The Witcher, so I'm really sorry, guys. Now we see Vesemir taking a bath, having all these nice things, and as per Vesemir's Netflix character description, he enjoys the money he makes from killing monsters to live a nice life. You can see that through the flashes of money that they also show. Makes sense as he came from poverty being a servant. And if you're wondering, by Geralt's time, he's born 65 years after Vesemir, there are a lot less monsters to hunt, so less work.
So that's why Geralt seems to be so poor. It's because the Witcher occupation is on a decline. They basically kill their own business. By doing better and killing more, they're reducing the amount of work they're actually going to have in the future.
The next scene has Vesemir by a bonfire talking to Tetra Gilchrist, who is a character descended from one of the first mages to come to the continent. She herself is also a mage, and her work is to make sure magic is regulated. Kinda hard to tell her feelings on Witchers, as she says in this teaser, "Witchers are experts in price." Because some mages hate Witchers, and she's probably just going to him to get a job done. Hunt down the main monster that is causing trouble in this movie.
If the descendant of one of the first mages to come to the continent is confusing, Netflix did make it a little bit weird that during the transformation they take out your uterus and ovaries. In the books, it was just that magic kind of made your reproductive fertility decline. So while most mages were infertile, not all of them were, and we do know mages who have had kids. Geralt's mom is a mage. If I were a guessing gal, I would imagine this big monster was created by a magic user, so a sorcerer, sorceress. Someone twisted a creature and made it into what it is, because we know in the books, some mages have created some really fucked up monsters. So that would make sense for her, who she's trying to make sure magic follows certain regulations. That falls outside regulations, and she wants that creature caught, killed, and to figure out who did it.
Next, Vesemir used the sign Igna on a bunch of undead creatures and smiles like the absolute bamf he knows he is. I love this arrogance and just this fun, younger Vesemir. Like, goddamn. Also, look at the horde of ghouls. That is straight up nightmare fuel. Oh, and more nightmare fuel. Here's him facing off against 𝘅𝑲𝑦. We're told we get a 𝘅𝑲𝑗n in season 2 of the main show, so scene 1 here is going to be a good introduction to why you don't fuck with them. They can control animals like crows and wolves, so him slicing through those makes sense. The 𝘅𝑲𝑗n is trying to blind him for the kill.
I'm wondering if the 𝘅𝑲𝑗n is going to be less powerful in the movie, because in the show where we're going to see a 𝘅𝑲𝑗n, it takes a lot of Witchers to fight it, so I don't know. Here it looks like he's soloing the 𝘅𝑲𝑗n. Maybe he doesn't actually kill it and he just gets out of there. I don't know.
I can't really show this because of certain things, but here is a Bruxa, a higher vampire that can hang out in the sun, and you really don't want to face off against them. I have a whole lore video on Bruxas you can click on. I hate vampires with a passion, so I'm not going to enjoy this scene, and probably also have nightmares from this. From Vesemir's response, I'm guessing he pissed this woman off by killing something she cared about, maybe the person she was trying to mentally enslave.
We're also getting a Bruxa in season 2 of The Witcher. My god, I hate vampires so much. And in general, this movie we're promising is going to be a lot darker, bloodier, grittier than the show, so if you want to see a lot of death and stabbies, it has you covered. I don't know if we'll see more boobies, but the fact that the Bruxa's boobies were out and you could see the outline of her vagina, I don't see why not. Maybe we can have a hardcore gangbang scene. So that is my breakdown of the teaser. Like, subscribe, let me know what you think about the teaser. What part are you most excited for? And are you actually going to watch this movie? I watch anything Witcher, so I'm definitely going to.